Hey everyone, Sky here to discuss Inglorious Basterds, starring Brad Pitt, Melanie Laurent, Christoph Waltz, Michael Fassbender, Eli Roth, Diane Kruger, Daniel Bruhl, and Til Schweiger, and directed by all the movies, Quentin Tarantino. Now, I remember going to movie theaters for this thing, thinking this movie's going to be great, especially with Brad Pitt with that over-the-top accent. Well, let's get into it, and then you'll see what I mean when I think it... Well, let's just figure this out. The movie opens in 1941 in Nazi-occupied France. Colonel Hans Landa visits Pierre-le-Petit to find some Jews and have a long talk, and this scene, I felt chills, menace, meaning I was scared. Like, Hans acts nice, but he's evil, to be clear. And Christoph Waltz gives a brilliant performance as this nice but evil man. And that was an Oscar-winning, very well deserved. And I love this scene for how fucking intense it is. Then Hans brings his soldiers in and shoots the flooring in the house, and Shoshana, played by Melanie Laurent, runs off, and Hans lets Shoshana get away, and the opening grabbed me to death. Like, I couldn't believe what the fuck I was watching. Lieutenant Aldo Raine, played by Brad Pitt, is hysterical, particularly since how he says Nazi like Nazi. Just cracked me up. I was laughing at this dialogue because how he says it. It's so damn funny. It was just I was just cracking up at him throughout the movie because he steals the scenes he's in. But it's more a Christoph Waltz movie than Brad Pitt's, I must say. I love how we first see Adolf Hitler being portrayed by an actor, who I don't really know the name, just pounds and saying 9999999, meaning no in German. And we're introduced to him as a character in this movie, and he's worried about Lieutenant Raine's men killing 800 Nazi scouts. I'm going to do that for the rest of the show, by the way, Brad. You're not getting out of that. 100 scouts for each man, and we see the Bastards, which Lieutenant Raine calls his troops, and we learn about the Bastards, for example, Sergeant Hugo Stiglitz, played by Til Schweiger, and we get his narration by Samuel motherfucking Jackson about Stiglitz, and Donnie, the Bear Jew Donowitz, played by Eli Roth, and I love him in this role. Fun fact, originally, Mr. Tarantino wanted Adam Sandler in this role, but was instead doing Judd Apatow's movie, Funny People. But Eli Roth plays it perfectly, in my opinion. We move on to Shoshana as a different person named Emmanuel Mimi, forgive me if I said that wrong, in 1944, owning a cinema, and is confronted by Frederick Zoller, played by Daniel Bruhl, who I reviewed before in Captain America Civil War. And I do like this actor as a villain, and he does great here too. Shoshana is invited by Frederick to a restaurant with his friend and their wives, or secretaries or something. I don't know what the fuck was happening there. And later in the scene, Hans comes in, and I thought, oh shit, if he finds out it's Shoshana, she's fucked. And when they talk privately and asks her to play Frederick's movie from Germany called Nation's Pride, and any scene with Hans, I was fucking petrified because Mr. Tarantino casted and directed this actor tremendously. Right actor, too. Hans asks Shoshana to play Nation's Pride at her cinema, and they're officially having a premiere at the cinema, and it was very fucking creepy, in my opinion. Lieutenant Archie Hickox, played by Michael Fassbender, is going to have a talk with General Ed Feeney, played by Mike Myers, as in Austin Powers Mike Myers. And like Bohemian Rhapsody, what the fuck is Mike Myers doing here? But General Feeney orders Lieutenant Hickox to join the Bastards in a town called Nadine, and contact with Bridget von Hammersmark, who's a German actress and British spy, played by Diane Kruger, who I've seen in other movies like National Treasure, for example. And Lieutenant Hickox, with Bridget, joins the Bastards in a bar and gets intruded by a man who looks very fucking suspicious. At a point, Lieutenant Heacox points a gun on his damn nuts. And they all have a Mexican standoff, and they shoot each other, and Bridget is shot in the leg, and Lieutenant Rain has a Mexican standoff with Wilhelm, forgive me if I said that wrong, who just became a father until Bridget shoots him. And I felt bad for the newly father of Maximilian. But that's not important. That's not the movie's plot. What is important is Lieutenant Rain is pissed. About 2 of his men are dead. And she talks about Hitler being at the premiere of... And Lieutenant Rain, Donnie, and another soldier, I can't figure out what the fuck his name is, come to the premiere as Italians. And they don't speak a word of German. But I love the way Brad Pitt says... Gulami, as he's forced by Hans to say, and Donnie says Margarite, and all of them is hysterical. Hans finds Bridget's shoe and autograph, and I'm like, she's fucked at the premiere, and we'll see it in a few minutes. Hans does do the Cinderella thing where he puts the shoe on her and he kills her when he realizes she's a British spy. And this is a premiere night, at the premiere night of Nation's Pride, and Shoshana makes a reel of how she'll burn her own cinema down. And puts it halfway through Nation's Pride, and Lieutenant Rain gets captured by Hans with Donnie, and a couple of the bastards are in the auditorium and get out of before they lock the Germans in. Hans interrogates Lieutenant Rain and Donnie to let Hitler live. Well, not Donnie, it's a different guy. I forget what the fuck his name is, too. About their mission, and Shoshana gets halfway into the movie, and as she and Frederick get shot, and after the line, who wants to send a message to Germany, and Shoshana pops up and says her message to the Germans that they're going to die. And as the 35mm film burns down, the cinema and the other bastards kill Hitler. And that was an awesome fantasy by Mr. Tarantino. Lieutenant Rain and Donnie, well, not Donnie, but another guy, get freed by Hans and kills his soldier. And Lieutenant Rain puts a scar on his head, like the Nazi scar on his head, which is his masterpiece. And let me be honest here, this ending is fucking awesome, and I wish Hitler shut up in the movie theater like he was in this movie. Now it's time for the rating. I'll give this movie a 8.6 out of 10. This movie is awesome, hilarious, and just fucking brilliant. I laughed every time Brad Pitt was on screen and the way he was saying Nazi, and I was scared every time Christoph Waltz was on screen. And a well-deserved Oscar win. This is a great World War II fantasy, and if you're not in the mood to watch a movie so serious about World War II, watch this movie. This is one of Tarantino's masterpieces. So I'd like to thank you guys for joining me, and next week I will be back with Django Unchained. And until next time, and action.